It all started with what seemed like a normal live stream. Deitrick Haddon, the gospel superstar known for his bold words and fearless opinions, was speaking to his audience. He laughed, he joked, and he shared some thoughts about music and ministry. But you won't believe how quickly the atmosphere changed. What began as a casual talk suddenly turned into a storm that no one saw coming. Viewers who tuned in expecting encouragement or simple conversation soon found themselves at the center of one of the most explosive moments in gospel history. Deitrick, with his unfiltered style, leaned closer to the camera. His tone shifted, and let me tell you, this is how the tension started building. He began talking about the struggles people face every day: mental health, financial problems, broken families, and how church leaders often failed to address them. His words were sharp, heavy with years of frustration, and the viewers could sense something big was about to happen. And then, here is the shocking part. He called out Bishop Noel Jones by name. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't polite. It was direct. "I'm tired of the old guard," Deitrick said, acting like they have all the answers. The moment those words dropped, the live chat exploded. People froze, shocked at what they had just heard. Some typed in excitement, cheering him for saying what many were too scared to admit. Others begged him to stop before he went too far. This is where it gets interesting, because the clash was not just about two men, it was about two very different worlds colliding. Deitrick, with his modern style and fearless voice, represented a generation that wanted change. Bishop Noel Jones, with his traditional preaching and decades of ministry, stood as a symbol of the old ways. What made this story different was that it wasn't quiet whispers or hidden rumors. It was live, raw, and unfiltered in front of thousands. The craziest part was that Deitrick didn't back down. His voice grew stronger as he continued. He questioned why powerful leaders were still using old sermons from the past, while people were suffering in the present. He hinted that many of these leaders, including Bishop Noel Jones, were more focused on protecting their platforms than helping people heal. Destiny took an unexpected turn that night because instead of a peaceful live stream, viewers witnessed a clash that shook the entire gospel world. Clips were being saved, screens recorded, and within minutes, the controversy was already spreading far beyond the live audience. As the live stream continued, the fire only grew stronger. Screenshots of Deitrick's words were already spreading across social media, and clips of the moment were being reposted before the stream even ended. Fans rushed to Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok to share what they had just witnessed. And you won't believe how divided the reactions were. On one side, there were supporters who praised him for finally speaking the truth. They said Deitrick had the courage to say out loud what many younger Christians had been thinking for years. Finally, someone said it, one user posted, while another called him the voice of a new generation. But here is the shocking part. While some were cheering him, others were furious. Bishop Noel Jones had a loyal following, and many felt that Deitrick had crossed a line that should never be crossed. To them, this was not bravery, this was disrespect. They accused him of chasing attention, using the bishop's name for clout, and stirring unnecessary drama in the church. Memes began rolling in, with some mocking the situation and others defending it, turning the controversy into a wildfire that could not be stopped. This is where it gets interesting. The debate wasn't just about Deitrick and Noel Jones. It became a reflection of a bigger problem, the generational divide inside the gospel community. Younger fans sided with Deitrick, saying they were tired of old sermons that felt disconnected from their struggles. They wanted leaders who could talk about mental health, real-life problems, and practical solutions. But older audiences stood firmly with Bishop Noel Jones, reminding everyone of his decades of service, his wisdom, and his influence. What made this story different was that it wasn't just gossip. It was a battle between two eras of church leadership playing out live for the world to see. The craziest part was how fast the memes, the debates, and even news blogs picked it up. Headlines popped up everywhere. Deitrick Haddon versus Bishop Noel Jones. Gospel world shaken by public call-out. Destiny took an unexpected turn when the story jumped out of the gospel world and into the wider public, catching the attention of people who normally had nothing to do with church matters. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion, and everyone wanted to know the same thing. How would Bishop Noel Jones respond to being called out so directly? While social media was exploding with opinions, Bishop Noel Jones himself remained silent. Days passed, and not a single word came from him. No posts, no statements, not even a small hint in his sermons. You won't believe how this silence created even more drama. Some fans said his silence showed wisdom, that he was too experienced to get dragged into live stream fights. But here is the shocking part. Others saw his silence as weakness, even guilt, as if Deitrick's words had touched a nerve too deep to respond to. Let me tell you, this is how the tension grew even stronger. His supporters claimed that Bishop Jones didn't need to defend himself because his decades of ministry already spoke louder than any attack. They said he had nothing to prove. But critics argued the opposite. They asked, if Deitrick was wrong, why didn't Bishop Jones just correct him? Why let rumors and speculation spread? This is where it gets interesting. His silence became a story of its own. People started debating not just what Deitrick said, but why Noel Jones chose not to answer. What made the story different was that usually, when a leader is attacked publicly, they respond quickly to protect their reputation. But Bishop Jones did not, and that created a vacuum. Into that vacuum rushed all kinds of theories, whispers, and rumors. Some said it was strategy, a way to rise above drama. Others whispered that maybe Deitrick was exposing something deeper that people were not supposed to know. The craziest part was that even inside Bishop Jones's own church, members were divided. Some respected his silence, while others felt left in the dark. Destiny took an unexpected turn because instead of calming down, the controversy grew larger with every passing day of silence. Blogs, podcasts, and YouTube channels speculated endlessly. Some said Noel Jones was avoiding Deitrick because he knew the younger pastor represented a powerful shift in gospel culture. Others said he simply wanted to wait until the storm died down. But no matter the reason, his silence only gave Deitrick's words more power, making fans wonder if the gospel world was standing at the edge of a turning point. After days of silence from Bishop Noel Jones, everyone was waiting for the next move. Would he finally respond? Would he call out Deitrick Haddon in return? Or would he simply stay quiet and let the storm fade? You won't believe how Deitrick handled this moment. Instead of stepping back, he doubled down. He repeated his words in interviews and posts, making it clear that he wasn't just speaking against one man, but against a whole system of leadership that, in his view, had failed to evolve with the times. Let me tell you, this is how the feud went from a personal clash to a symbol of something much bigger. Deitrick's challenge became about accountability, transparency, and honesty in the church. But here is the shocking part. It also revealed how divided the gospel community had become. Younger generations applauded his courage, saying he was pushing for change. Older generations defended Bishop Jones, saying respect for elders and tradition could not be thrown away so easily. This is where it gets interesting. The controversy stopped being only about Deitrick and Noel Jones. It became a debate about the future of the church itself. Would the gospel world hold on tightly to tradition, or would it open the doors to modern voices and fresh ideas? What made the story different is that it wasn't hidden in the shadows. It unfolded in front of thousands of viewers live, and then spread like wildfire across the internet for the whole world to see. The craziest part was that both men, in their own ways, represented something larger than themselves. Deitrick was seen as the voice of a new generation demanding real answers, while Noel Jones was viewed as the guardian of a long tradition that valued respect and order. And destiny took an unexpected turn when one live stream, just one night of words, managed to expose years of tension, challenge old beliefs, and force people to ask hard questions about where gospel culture is headed. By the end, there was no clear winner. Some believed Deitrick had spoken the truth, while others felt he had crossed a sacred line. Bishop Jones's silence only fueled the mystery, leaving people to wonder whether he chose wisdom or avoidance. And so, the story ended not with resolution, but with deeper division and bigger questions. Was this the beginning of reform, or just another controversy that would fade away? One thing was certain. The gospel world would never forget the night when Deitrick Haddon publicly called out Bishop Noel Jones and changed the conversation forever.